About 50 millimetres or so, Clare 86 and Mount Crawford 83. But it's no wonder we're under threat from flooding. It's been an unseasonably wet month too. Mount Lofty's had 305 millimetres for September, usually receiving around 107. Adelaide's had 130, and for September we expect an average of about 58. Clare's had 195 millimetres for the month, but usually sees an average of 56.
Good evening. South Australians are bracing for the arrival of a storm front expected to be so severe, authorities warn it could be the worst in decades. There are fears of serious flooding across the state and through areas devastated less than a fortnight ago.
Now breaking news now out of South Australia, where the entire state is in darkness.
It's not simply a storm. It's an unprecedented weather event. 2 tornadoes ripping through the centre of our state, destroying not 1, not 2, but 3 elements of critical infrastructure.
This is extraordinary and unprecedented. As we go to air tonight, the entire state of South Australia has lost power. Buildings have been plunged into darkness throughout South Australia.
I've been in the role here for 6 years, and I've got to say it's the most severe forecasts that we've encountered to date.
Closer to shore, we are bracing for very dangerous, powerful sets of waves. They could do a lot of damage, much worse. Just to give you an idea of what we're talking about here, it's been 52 years since we have seen winds this strong on a forecast for South Australia.
And something strange has gone on near Gladstone in Queensland overnight, with hundreds of people seeing a flash of light.
Hundreds of Queenslanders have reported seeing a flash of light in the sky last night, followed by a tremor. The speculation online, a meteorite crashed into the ocean near Gladstone around 8:30.
Residents as far north as Mackay to as far south as Hervey Bay took to social media last night to report a number of disturbances. Then come the security camera footage along the coastline, capturing a number of flashes of light just after 8 last night. Some residents then felt rumbling and then possibly a tremor. And then entered this possibility. Steve Parmenter captured this precise snap of what he calls a shooting star event. Now, as to exactly what it is, we can begin the speculation. Geoscience Australia has ruled out some form of an earthquake or a tremor event.
Social media is abuzz tonight after a Madisonville man captured a series of bizarre lights in the sky.
Last Sunday night, this light in the late night sky north of Dale Noel's Madisonville home stopped him in his tracks.
And when I seen the light, it was like flying, and the light was pulsing, like it was getting brighter and brighter and brighter every time the further it was getting.
He ran to tell his fiancée he thought a plane's wing was on fire, but returned outside to an empty sky. Then
we both looked up at the sky and we seen the same thing. It made the same path, so we started recording it. It was lighting up, lighting up, lighting up, and then it blew up in the same spot the other one did. And then a third one came by. We were just like kind of freaking out. Like, what is this? What is this?
Dale took the debate to his Facebook page, where some friends suggested drones, others suggested flares. They also checked with the American Meteor Society, who says that it wasn't technically a meteor or fireball, but it could have been space debris. We checked with NASA. They said it wasn't that either.
Well, doctors have announced the birth of the world's first baby with 3 genetic parents. The baby boy was born in Mexico in April with the help of a new procedure that combines the DNA of 3 people. The new technique screens out inherited defects by using genes from a healthy donor. But some scientists are worried about the ethics of carrying out such a procedure.
It is a complicated procedure that was used to prevent the baby from having a potentially deadly condition.
Scientists say this baby's birth is a medical breakthrough.
Indeed, it's a revolutionary research.
This is Dr. John Zhang holding the first baby conceived through a new in vitro fertilization technique that used the DNA of 3 people. 3-parent procedures are considered controversial, some people calling them designer babies. The 3-parent DNA technique is not approved in the U.S., so the parents travel to Mexico for the procedure. But a similar technique is approved in the United Kingdom, so the DNA is from the father, the nucleus of the mother, and then the mitochondrial DNA of the donor egg. Those are the three sources of DNA in this one child.
Highly complex, so the child does have three parents, right?
Well, it depends on what you call a parent, right?
I mean,
but it does have DNA from three different, yeah, exactly, DNA from three different parents.
Wow.
I'm like speechless.
Okay.
I'm trying to wrap my head around
to
this.
let that one sit for a while.
It's a brave new world.
It really is.
Wow.
But also, I mean, like the doctor said, you got to use this responsibly.
Exactly.
It's getting in the wrong hands.
And they want to know how more controversial methods of genetic selection can be regulated. After all, if the DNA for mitochondria can be changed, so can that which determines characteristics like gender, skin, eye color, and even intelligence.
University of Michigan students can now choose their own identity, but it's already causing controversy. The university announcing a new campus-wide policy this week that allows students to select their own designated personal pronoun. It's part of a move to foster an environment of inclusiveness for transgender students.
All of this prompted one student to choose his Majesty, which he says demonstrates the ridiculous nature of the policy.
Fox News Channel campus associate and Michigan University student, His Majesty Grant Strobel, joins us now. Her Majesty, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence this morning.
Well, it's a pleasure, and I don't know if you didn't notice, but in any video of Schoolhouse Rock for the pronouns, they never even mention words like z or zer.
That's a great point. So walk us, for people that are just hearing this for the first time, what is going on? What is this policy? How did you hear about it? And why are you now being called Her Majesty?
Well, when I realized that the university decided to live a fantasy of allowing students to insert words that aren't even actual pronouns into the university online database that updates the rosters, I decided, well, I might as well be the king of that fantasy, and I henceforth shall be referred to as His Majesty.
So people are actually calling you that now? Like they are forced to call you that on campus now?
Yes, the policy says that if professors don't refer to students by their designated identities, then they may face sanction, which is very dangerous for our universities where we're supposed to be pursuing truth.
So what you have is the mandatory denial of biological reality. The campus's position is that gender is just a construct. Having changed a lot of diapers, I think it's actually physical. But I wonder if your fellow classmates at Michigan, the Augusta school, believe that it's not real, that it's all in your head, that gender is what you say it is. Do people buy that?
Well, plenty of students do, unfortunately. And the more and more we go down this road of political correctness at these universities, the question is where will that end? How much is the university willing to sacrifice its pursuit of truth and its mission for this fantasy land of political correctness?
Television history will be made right here on 7 ABC tomorrow night at 9. Modern Family has cast TV's first ever openly transgender child actor. Jackson Malarker is set to appear in the episode titled A Stereotypical Day.
Now Marissa hopes someday it's not considered to be a big deal that a transgender person gets a role in Hollywood.
It'd be nice if there weren't much of a big deal. I mean, he's just another boy.
Jenna Morton, WQAD News 8.
And actors are speaking out. Just last week, actor Jeffrey Tambor, who plays a trans woman on the show Transparent, called on Hollywood to hire more trans actors for trans roles.
We've built an experimental device that works as a type of holographic TV, bringing to life some of our archive footage. We took a flat screen TV and built an acrylic pyramid and used old theatre tricks to create the illusion of a holographic TV. Our experiment was fairly simple, but with new technologies on the horizon, such as augmented reality, mixed reality and virtual reality, there is a chance that holographic TVs could become a feature of living rooms in the future.
There's perhaps great potential for drama and concerts, because you feel more engaged with the image.
And again, 50 years ago, this was not even foreseeable. Until 1900, knowledge doubled about every century. Something like that. By the end of World War II, it doubled every 25 years. Today, it's doubling every 12 or 13 months. This is from about a year ago. But according to IBM, and I have the article written there, according to IBM, internet technology will lead to the doubling of knowledge every 12 hours. You can read the whole article. It's quite eye-opening. The scientific revolution, which is a revolution of knowledge, is the most obvious development of the 20th century. Paragraph H. There's we said this earlier, over 3 billion people have internet connection today, 40% of the earth. In 1995, there were only 15 million that had internet connection. Only 15 million people, 1% of the earth, 15 million people, 1995. By 2005, it went from 15 million to 1 billion. 2010, it went to 2 billion. 2014, 3 billion. So you can see the increases, because with the internet, that's where the knowledge is coming to every little tucked away place in the earth, every little village of the earth.
When the world comes in, they come.
Rihanna was one of many musicians to perform in Manhattan's Central Park at the Global Citizen Festival.